Hello and welcome to Coffee Chat with Jody Myciak. I am so sorry for the short delay. My son slept in this morning, so we're just trying to get him going and safe so I could chat with you today. So I apologize for being a little bit late today. That hasn't happened in a while, I don't think so. I am so sorry. I know your time is precious, so let's get started. Grab your coffee, your tea, whatever you drink. Either to caffeinate yourself or just to enjoy, or some water even. So today we are talking about spending time with our kids. That's a big thing that a lot of moms have. If you're working full time, it's that constant struggle of I don't spend. When you get home, you're probably tired after a busy day, and then all you want to do is relax, or you have things to do around the house, and it feels overwhelming. And then you have that pit in your stomach where I want to spend more time with my kids, but I don't know how. Well, today I'm going to jump right in and I'm going to share 3 ways to really help you spend more time with your kids. So if you're here this morning, I would love a little hello. Any questions? Feel free throughout to chat with me. That's what this is all about, from my home to yours. And this is really, if you have any questions after these 3 things, I would really love to know. And if you're watching this later, because I know not everybody can make it at this time, please comment and I will get back to you. And we can always talk about the next coffee chat as well. Okay, so the 3 things. And the first one is a big one if you get this down in general, it'll be really good throughout life, but it's scheduling time. So for instance, once my son was born, I then had 2 children to have to balance. And if you have more than 2, then it's not even just one child you have to figure out how to spend time with. It's more, and having them feel like you are spending time with them and alone, because you might have to help one over the other. Like for instance, when my son was born, he's a newborn, so I needed to take more care of him. I needed to nurse him every couple hours. I nursed on demand, so it was whenever he needed it, and I was up in the middle of the night, so then I was napping. So how did I find a balance? Well, once I finally had enough energy to think, I realized that, and I actually had, it was pretty much energy to think. I scheduled in a mother-daughter day. And that meant, it didn't mean the whole entire day. It usually meant Friday. I was starting to do it, but the Friday of every month, or it would really just depend on what Friday worked for us, but it would be during his nap time. So my husband works from home on Fridays, so I would just, we would go out on his nap time and then come back before he got up. And it was just, one day we actually got her haircut for the first time. And another, it was just, going out for lunch. One time, actually, I was so exhausted that I was like, I'm not driving anywhere. So we ordered in food and had a little picnic in the backyard. It doesn't have to be much. And I actually just realized now that she's in school, when I was actually getting this all ready for coffee chat, I'm like, oh my God, September's passing us by. And I haven't had our mother-daughter day in September. So this Saturday, I'm trying to figure out how to do things. But I'm actually planning on pulling her out of school. Now, that might be extreme for you, and it's all up to your own things, but I suggest scheduling it in. So we have mother-daughter day, and now that my daughter's at school, I can really do one-on-one with my son. So until he's in school, I now have a fun balance between the 2 of them. So that's a big one, is scheduling in time. And it could be, even say they come home from school and maybe you work from home, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, but you still have a million things to do, because let's face it, you're not just chilling. There's going to be things you're going to be doing. So what do you do then? So what I would suggest is, when they come home from school, or maybe you have to walk and get them, you plop in like a 10-15 minute time frame where you can just be with them. Share about your day, share about their day, just check in with them and see how they're doing and really be present. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but it's scheduling in that time. It could be even for me, another example is at night, at bedtime. My son's younger, so I put him down first. And then I usually get my daughter, because she's older, she can tell me that she wants me to brush her teeth and wash her face. My son doesn't have a choice, so my husband does it. But so I go be with her, then let her go and do her thing, and then I go to my son. And then I go back to my daughter and I spend time with her. So it's really just scheduling in that time, knowing like I am present when I'm putting my kids to bed. I'm fully present. I'm not thinking about what I need to do after bed, after I get them to bed. I'm not thinking about like the crazy, like how our kitchen is a disaster. I'm not thinking about any of those things. I am just there. So I think in the description I put for today, I talk about it's not about the quantity of time you spend with your kids. It's about quality. Spending really good, solid, quality time with your kids. Your kids are going to feel it when you're only half there. And I know this can be hard. You're like, oh my goodness, I'm only always half there for everything because you have so much to do. Your to-do list is crazy. And let's face it, there's a lot to do in life. But that's why I say schedule it in. You know that for that next 10, 15 minutes, for us, we do about a half-hour bedtime routine. Sometimes it goes over, and that's what happens. That's usually when I get started to get a little cranky because I'm like, but you know that for whatever scheduled time, you're going to be there for your kids and your kids alone or your child. And so it's about scheduling in your time when you know when it's happening. It's easier to just know that, okay, for these time, I'm just going to think about getting the kids to bed or spending one-on-one time with one of your children. And then let's roll in. So it's really, scheduling your time. And now it might seem a little boring where you're like, scheduling in time. But you don't have to plan what you're doing in that time other than spending it with your child. And you can let the fun unfold, because with children, they really can take things in a different direction that you were planning. But it's just knowing that for X time, at such time, you are going to be spending it with your child or children, depending on how many you have. And the more you have, yes, the harder it is. We found this fine balance when we had just our daughter. And then our son came, and we wanted it. Like that was our plan. And there isn't a balance to reconfigure because everything was running smoothly with one, and then you add another. And then if you have more than that, you just, things keep changing. All the parts keep changing. So we also have to change and adjust as well. So number 2, a little backstory, not a backstory, but a little bit. So we, like I said, have so much to do. You have to cook supper, you have to clean, you want to take time for you too. So why not have them help? Have them help with supper. Have them take part in things. My daughter loves to use the duster. She might not do a great job, but hey, half the time I'm not dusting anyway, so let her half dust, and that's better than not dusting. She loves to vacuum, so I'll let her vacuum for a while, and it is okay. It's time. And the biggest one for us, now every child is different, but it's including her in the kitchen. Our son's a little young, so he kind of we call him, you're the supervisor in your high chair. But once he can actually stand safely in the kitchen on the chair, we will include him as well. So it's really just including them. Like, she loves baking with us. We don't bake often, but it's like even making pancakes. We made little mini pizzas with whole wheat naan as a base, and then she gets to build her own. And it's just really, most of the time though, it's things that we were going to do. I'm trying to think, but yeah, we can have her in the kitchen for supper. And she just loves being part of it. The moment you include them in the activity that you're doing, watch your child's face light up. They are so excited. They just want to be part of your life. They just want to be a part of what's going on in your world. Another, like, even as simple as, like, because I mentioned my husband works from home some of the time, he'll actually be, working on his laptop, and our kids have these toy ones, and she'll just sit beside and pretend to be working with him. It's a simple act of just letting her be there with us. So it's just finding those little things that you can do together on that long to-do list of yours. Maybe it's helping fold laundry, helping carry the laundry to and from things. Like, obviously, it have to be a little, like, maybe a couple pieces. Yes, it might slow you down a little bit, but in the end, you're including them in an activity that might not have gotten done because they were bothering you for an hour trying to get your attention. So then you can actually, just you're doing kind of two things. I'm not a big fan of multitasking these days because they stress me out and they overwhelm me. And they take energy in two ways instead of one and put focus. But this is where you're paying attention to your child, you're including them, making them feel special, and getting something done that you wanted to get done. Yes, might be slower. One big thing to look at is kids do have attention. Somebody I follow for parenting is attention buckets. They have this bucket and they need to fill it by the end of the day. And if they're not getting it, then they're going to act out in other ways. So really giving that time to your child, either scheduling it in, having them add to an activity is going to help them fill their bucket. So at the end of the day, you're not battling with your child over things. So it helps you feel like you're actually spending more time with your child or children. And it helps them at the end of the day so they're not horrible. I shouldn't say horrible, but like, just acting out. And where you're like, oh my goodness, what is going on? Who is this kid? Right? I find a lot of the time our kids act out when, and I'm sorry, this is not turning into a parenting session, but my child acts out more when she's hungry, tired, and again, not getting our attention. This is also not about making you feel bad about spending time with your kids. This is why I'm giving you some suggestions. So hang tight, there's one more, and this is a big one, and it's really just come into play. It definitely was not a big deal in my childhood, but it's definitely very something to be aware of now, and that's being unplugged. So originally, when my daughter was home, I had unplugged Fridays where I didn't look at Facebook. I try not to look at my emails, and I definitely did not post on Facebook. Now things have shifted, and I've picked up some more working hours thanks to my son napping in the afternoon. But I used to make Friday fun days. So now instead of unplugging for the whole day, I usually unplug for most of the day. Same with Sunday. Sunday, I try my best not to be on Facebook, check my emails. And then it's a little time. So like those are extremes where I try for the whole day. I'm now talking about supper. We have this rule. Unless something goes off and I know it's something important, like a family member, I have to make sure things are good. I usually don't touch my phone. My husband doesn't touch his phone at supper. We are not looking at it. It doesn't matter. And we're just present for that time. Same with bedtime. I'm trying not to look at it and search on it. Like, that's their time. So when I'm fully present with my child, and when I was talking about, that being fully present, that means set down the phones, the devices, and really be present with your children or child. And, or else they're gonna see your head in a phone, and then they know that you're not fully present. Children are really smart. So, and then this way, you at the end of the day will also feel like you didn't have enough time with your kids. Again, we're scheduling it. It's not hours upon hours that you need to spend with your kids. Well, you might have to be there, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom. But the time that you're really fully present, it doesn't need to be much. 15 minutes, 20. You're reading those books to your kids at bed. Or if they're older, they're reading books to you. And same with helping activities. I suggested ones that are for younger children. As they get older, it's planting in a garden, or they can be helping clean up lawn waste, like sticks and twigs, or they can have different things that can be doing together. Like, this isn't about adding them to chore lists. That's a whole different topic. It's about doing things together. It could be cleaning out the car together. Like, let's grab a garbage bag and let's get all the garbage and recycling and whatever else might be in that car out of there. It's really, those things that have been building that you're like, oh, another thing I have to do. Have them help you. Make it fun. And then this way, this job of yours that you may not like to do can be more fun. So, to recap, 3 things. Scheduling in your time with your children. Again, may seem kind of boring, a ritual, but when you schedule something in, it usually gets done, then in your it's really about mindset. Okay, so tonight at this time or during the day, I'm spending this time with my child. Like, doesn't matter what's going on, putting down the phone and just being present. And then it's also about finding ways for them to help you. What can they do to help you? Where they can really feel like they matter and they're important. And then you feel like you're actually spending time with your kids and you're getting stuff done. And then unplugging. I'm not saying throw your phone away or anything. It could be even 10 minutes again. But it's really just planning those days, like on a Sunday or a Saturday, whenever you're planning time with your kids, put down the phone. It's so easy to grab. Oh, what's happening on Facebook today? Or, do I have any emails coming in? We are bombarded with so much on our phones. We have apps so we can play games, or there's just so much going on. So leave the phone. If you have to, turn it off. Or I even just put another room to charge. So when it's charging, it's gone. And it's usually on silent. So unfortunately, if people are trying to get a hold of me, half the time I have to phone them back. Because I'm either present with my business or I'm present with my kid or my husband. So I don't have a lot of time where I just let the phone ring. So that's my choice, but everybody's different. So I hope you found valuable. I'm just checking my notes to make sure I didn't forget any fun tidbits. But again, remember that it is the quality of the time you spend with your kids, not the quantity, not the amount of time. Sorry, cat just went flying around in our den. So spending time with your kid, it's just pick those times, schedule it in. Like my daughter, I would be like, okay, this Friday it's Mother-Daughter Day. She'd be so excited. She's like, we're having Mother-Daughter Day. She's 3.5, almost 4 now. But she was just so excited. We're building this day, and she knows that it's one-on-one time. She's like, it's just me and you. Same with when she started school. I said, when you're home from school, you and I can just hang out. And she's just so excited about that because she knows that her and I just get to hang out. Not her brother, not her dad, just her and I. And it might only be for 15 minutes before supper, but it's those 15 minutes. So it's really just finding that time. Now, if you have more than one child, it can get a little trickier to do the dividing of that, especially if you reach more than like 2 or 3. It's really maybe at bedtime or getting somebody else to come in and hang out with some of the kids. If you have a husband or a partner, having them take time, take the rest out of the house or just stay with the rest of the kids when you go out and kind of rotate. It gives your husband or partner a chance to, now if you're a single mom, it does get a little trickier, and it's just finding ways. And it might not be that one kid has as much one-on-one time. It might be the fact that you do it in the house and you just do it as a group. It's more of a family event. Uh, so it's like building a tent in the living room, or it really depends on what age your kids are. Uh, if your kids are older, you're not going to want to build a tent in the living room probably. But it's finding age-appropriate activities for your children that you can do that are fun too. Okay, so scheduling time. Drawing blank. I need more coffee. Sorry, guys. Finding ways for them to help and unplugging. So remember, quantity, not quality. Or other way, quality, not quantity. Sorry, guys. Because your kids know when you're present and when you're not. And 2 hours of half there will feel to them like 15 minutes. But 15 minutes of completely presence will make them feel like they've been spending hours with you. So just know that in your busy world of craziness where you don't feel like you have enough time, that you don't spend enough time with your kids, know that it doesn't have to be a lot of time. This has to be quality time. Very present, very aware. It actually seems a little bit more doable, doesn't it? You know, it's like only 15 minutes. I just need to be fully present for 15 minutes. And then the rest of it, have them set up activities, have them do some alone play, just different things, or different ages, obviously, again. But I find I love watching even my 1.5-year-old. I love watching him play, especially when his sister's not here. He's like, I got free roam of the toys. And I love just sitting back and watching and observing because they have this way of play. But then I also spend one-on-one quality time. So if you have any questions, please comment. I would love to know what it is that you're looking for, what you do for quality time. If you have any special days that you've planned with your kids, or if you have any questions. And I have some fun, exciting things happening. So I really hope that you stay in the next few weeks. I've just been busy working on some fun things around here. So I'm really hoping, if you weren't live here today, and I'm really hoping if you are, you've commented that I didn't miss it, because right now I'm showing nothing, but sometimes the screen needs to be refreshed, and I don't see anything. So if you are there, I do apologize. But so far I don't see anything. But if you, again, are watching this later, please comment. And if you would love help figuring out how to get this, any guilt that might be going on in your life, that mommy guilt, how to really help you through the mommy guilt, and you're just really at that point where you really want to have some one-on-one strategy, get her done, really just get to this place of empowered mothering, please private message me and let's get on the phone and chat. Today, next week, please private message me and I'll let you know when I'm available. Because I'm here to help you make your life feel more flowing, easier, in a sense of coming from an empowered place. When we're more empowered and we're empowering, and parenting from an empowered place, empowered mothering, things just flow better. We can listen to our instincts and we can really go with our gut and really know that what we're doing is golden. So you're amazing, and I love that you're here, and thank you for watching all the way to the end. And again, if you are ready to really just sit down with somebody and chat and really strategize what is the next stage of, on your empowered mothering journey, please message me. I really look forward to connecting with you. Until next week on Coffee Chat, have a beautiful weekend. Bye for now.